Good evening and welcome to the Growth, Profitability and Sustainability Group. Hi, I'm Martin Sharp, and tonight we're going to be answering the question set by Mohammed Asif, which is how can we get more done? So, as always, please give me likes, thumbs up if you guys can hear this and the sound's coming through okay. If you've got any problems, please let me know in the comments. Also, be prepared to submit your questions. This is a live Q&A session, so if you do have any kind of questions that you've got burning inside you of how you can build your growing, profitable and sustainable business, then please ask them during this. And towards the end of the webinar, we'll get those answered as we go through this. So, just a few more housekeeping kind of things. As always, we're still in the process of building the group and making this group as great as possibly can. It's great to see we're getting a lot more interaction now in the group, and we're seeing questions bubbling up and people now really trying to promote what they're doing, which is absolutely fantastic. We've got some fantastic experts in the Growth, Profitability, Sustainability group, and it's just been great being able to get you guys to basically promote yourselves. Let's hear what you do. So with that in mind, we've also got lots of opportunities here. We've got the expert view available. So if you have got an expertise or a service or a product or something where you really want to tell people a little bit more about it and how it can help for them in a non-salesy fashion, then brilliant, let's get you on board and let's get an expert view booked for yourself. You don't know where that might go. David Marsh was on in the last couple of weeks giving us some fantastic information of how we could use our LinkedIn profiles even better for meeting clients with Crystal Knows as a way of being able to use some artificial intelligence to really get into the heart of how people think and potentially how you could build a better team inside your business, as well as how you can approach other businesses as well. We're looking at trying to get some more expert views in the future. I'm talking with James Wan with regards to doing one around small business, local business marketing. So again, might be very useful for some of you guys who are running a local business and how do you actually bring in more trade effectively into your organization. I've also reached out to a couple of people in regards to answering the question around how do you actually get more speaking opportunities. How do you find those opportunities to get out there and actually speak more? So I've got one lady who's probably one of the best I know in getting corporate speaking gigs and being able to actually then present and change hearts and minds and lives in that kind of arena, and she's also a branding expert, a personal branding expert around that as well. So hopefully we'll get her on board with an expert view coming soon, so that'll be exciting. And for those of you that don't fancy doing a piece around what you actually do as expertise, but do fancy maybe having a story to tell or maybe sharing your view on something that happens in business, then feel free to drop me a note and be part of one of the Talking Business interview slots where we'll literally be unpacking some of everyone's expertise and knowledge and chewing the cud around some of those chewy issues that we all have as business owners, and trying to make sure we're motivating and growing a profitable and sustainable business. So again, the opportunity is there. If you've never done an interview before and you want to make sure you can do this in a safe environment, then please take me up on the opportunity, because it's a great little group here, and obviously it's nice to make mistakes amongst friends, isn't it, rather than amongst the general public. At the end of the day, you're going to get some great feedback here. People will be very sympathetic. When you go into the wild world, what you're going to get is people will just not buy from you, or in many cases will turn around and sometimes be quite nasty. So please put yourselves forward, get yourself a Talking Business Law or a expert view, and it's a great place to definitely showcase what you do, showcase who you are, and even have a bit of experience and practice along the way. So, just a shout out to Monica. Hi, good to see you there. It's great to see a lot of your book being promoted everywhere as well. It seems like I can't open up Facebook or LinkedIn at any point and not see your smiling face, which is lovely to hear. And I'm hoping that means that the book is going well as well. So do drop us a note in the comments there and let everyone know how well your book is actually going. I had the privilege of being able to read the manuscript before it actually came out, and wow, it's an amazing experience this lady's been through, and really does speak volumes in regards to resilience. So definitely worthwhile. If you haven't already looked at her book, please go ahead and do so. There you go, a little bit of an impromptu plug there for Monica and her book. So without further ado though, let's get back to the matter at hand, which is from Mohammed Asif, who said he's a big time cruncher. He does lots of tasks. He gets a lot of things done. He's a very motivated individual, based out of Dubai. But how can you make things even better? And this is absolutely fantastic, because at the end of the day, that's exactly what we're looking to do all the time. Is not being in a position where you're not doing anything, or you're not trying to improve yourself, because you need to be improving yourself all the time. If you're not growing, you're dying, as they say. So definitely making sure that you're looking to sharpen your sword, to take that slight edge, whatever kind of metaphor you want around it. But with the striving for continuous improvement is certainly something I think we should all be doing, and certainly something I do. It's part of my daily kind of ritual, is to make sure I understand how to move that forward. And for me, this kind of practice was given to me as a gift by my first ever general manager, a chap called Howard Dunkley, who was a very nice guy, and he took me under his wing, a little 18-year-old straight out of college, a bit green behind the ears and everything, and he said, just don't concentrate necessarily on things like how much you're going to get paid. Concentrate on doing a good job. And alongside those wise words, he also gave me a copy of the book, and I've forgotten the name of it, How to Win Friends and Influence People. That was the one. And one of the key elements in there is some self-reflection every day. So the reflection being, you look at your day and think, actually, what did I do really well? How can I repeat that on a daily basis? And how can I make it even better? And also look at yourself and think, well, what didn't go quite as well? And how could I maybe avoid that in the future? Or maybe how could I have made that go even better for the next time? And I think this opportunity to have self-reflection and to really kind of get into the heart of what you're doing and make sure you've got a way of working better, I think has stayed with me very well. It's meant that I've been able to build a fabulous career and then a fabulous business off the back of it. So certainly something I would recommend anyone does is to spend the time actually really trying to get into the heart of what's going on there. So what can be some of the key reasons that we would want to work even better inside our business? Obviously, the key reason here is time. In many cases, as business owners, we're probably more time poor than what we really think we are. And in fact, if you look at a survey that was done by the Alternative Board, they interviewed a whole host of small businesses based in the UK, and they found out that on average an entrepreneur will spend 68% of their time working in their business. So that's actually on stuff that's delivering what they've currently got, or working their own processes, and 32% of their time working on their business. Things like long-term goals, strategic planning, etc. So if this is something that you've not quite acquired yet, then it's something that you can work towards, where you can actually get that main split of time. Because in many cases, we get bogged down in the day-to-day, delivering actually what we've promised with our clients. Maybe working out those HR issues, because you've got to work with people that are in your business, or employees, etc. Or you may be working with your suppliers, etc. Have lots of questions and things, or vendors, or outsourcers, or whatever kind of other draws you have on your time, which really means that you can't actually get everything done that you wanted to do. So time is kind of one of the key elements that you want to be thinking about, and why we need to be doing that. So how do you plan out your day? Now, the other kind of interesting fact that they've found is I kind of plan a 16-hour day based on the fact that you've got 8 hours of sleeping. Well, for me it's probably about 6 hours of sleeping, with 2 hours for like meals, etc. And that kind of gives you a good 16 hours where you can be doing things. Now that 16 hours, I'm not saying you should be working. And in fact, if you look at on average, the average entrepreneur or small business owner works around about 50 hours a week, or 49.4, I think, what the statistics said. The interesting other fact about the statistic when you look at these things is it says the average is 49.4, but over 63% of them work more than 50 hours. So to me, that kind of rings an alarm bell. It says, how many of those have found the 4-hour working week, and how many are doing the 16-hour working week? And it obviously then makes up the difference. So if you're kind of in this position where actually you're working a lot of hours, you're kind of putting all those 16 hours that you've got available into your business, then how are you splitting that up? Now, even if, okay, let's hypothetically say we only have 50 hours in a working week, so that's, and we're only going to do Monday to Friday, and we're going to say, okay, that's just going to be 10 hours a day. So even if we split that time, but what would a day look like with regards to the stuff that you're working on inside your business? So again, looking through statistics and looking actually about, you know, what people are doing inside their business, and again, from experience that I've been working with other entrepreneurs, small business owners, also from information that I've found from other surveys that I've done, what you find is the split of time is quite interesting. So you've got roughly about 2 hours of the time that people will be spending doing marketing or sales kind of activities. So it's around about 20% of their time in this kind of area. Then on top of that, they'll spend probably a good solid 3 hours of actually delivering things for clients, actually working in their business and doing something that's kind of got part of the main sausage machine, getting things out the door effectively. Then when you kind of look at it a bit further, you've got relationship building. Now this is finding new contacts for selling to. This is all about building those strategic relationships. Like, who could you actually work with that would make your life easier? How could you find somebody that would potentially take off some of the workload, the burden that you've got, to make things work even better? Because I think we've talked before on the channel with regards to leverage. At the end of the day, if you're trying to do everything yourself, you know, you've only got a finite amount of time and a finite number of skills. So the way to be able to change that is you use leverage, because you can leverage other people's money, and everyone knows about that. You go for capital borrowings or loans or venture capital or whatever kind of way of borrowing somebody else's money and repaying it over a period of time, and that's how you can leverage the money aspect of it. But you can also leverage time and skills and other resources, and that's by working with other people. And in some cases it is a monetary exchange. You'll be exchanging money for time, money for skills, money for resources, and that's the normal transaction of things. But it's just finding those correct key partners is essential. I'm going to apologise. I think my dog's not feeling very well. He seems to have developed a cough over winter. I don't think dogs can get coronavirus. I think I'm safe, but we'll see. Anyway, back to what we're talking about. So we're looking around about 3 hours, which is around about 30% of the time actually delivering operational pieces for the business, moving the business forwards in that respect. If we then think about from a HR perspective, these are conversations you have with people, you know, when they require a little bit more direction, a bit more management, might be needing some correction, whatever it is that you need to do to keep the business moving, and making sure that the people inside the business are happy, they know what they're going to be doing, and they're going to deliver what you need them to deliver. And that's roughly about one and a bit hours a day doing that. About 12% of your time would be in that kind of arena. Then if we look at things like finance, so again, this is understanding your financial reports, maybe look at invoices, maybe chasing things, all those kind of aspects of the financial part of the business. Then you're looking around about 7% of your time, so just less than an hour. When you then start to look at some of the really interesting pieces around things like the products and services. In fact, we'll come back to that in a minute. The next one we're going to look at is administration. So this is things like emails, it's booking travel, it's looking at cat pictures perhaps, and that actually takes up about 2 hours of people's time, so around about 20% of their time. And then when you start looking at some of the more interesting things like developing strategy or products or services, these kind of really lag towards the end, where they get maybe 20 minutes of the time each per day, so less than an hour on actually moving the business truly forwards. So when you kind of think about these things, the reason for being more efficient with your time is quite important, but that kind of raises the other big question, which is, how would you like to spend your time? And where would you like to spend your time in doing that? Because it's great having this time, but actually, if you don't know what you should be using it on, or where you should be using it, or how it's going to be moving your business forwards, then you're in as bad a position as if you were just squandering the time in different ways anyway. So doing yourself some time analysis to actually understand what is the key goals that you need to be achieving, and actually then thinking about which bits do you add the most value into, and how much time do you need to spend on those kind of items, really needs to be one of those things that you look at right away, and really putting that time in there. And there's strategies and different ways of being able to do that to make sure that you make the best out of the time that you've got. But if you aren't understanding where that time should be split, then you might be in a position where actually you can have all the time in the world, but you're still not moving yourselves forwards. So really starting right back at that piece of saying, actually, what do I need to be spending my time on? Where are my skills? How do I need to like bring other people in? And building a strategy around this, for me, is absolutely crucial and fundamental. And I'm hoping that this is the starting point for you guys to do that. Then once you've kind of done that, you're then starting to move into the realms of kind of what tools would you like to use to make that work. So if we quickly show my other screen, and what we'll do is we'll start looking at he says, I've broken my tool, sorry guys, give me 1 second. There's always something, isn't there? Remove. Yeah. God, demo demons, you gotta love it. Okay, so see, and you, just so you're aware, this is absolutely live. We're not doing this in any other way, shape or form. You're getting the raw facts, even when things go wrong, because you can think you've done everything, and then some days, just miss one little thing, just like the day. Anyway, the good news is it doesn't take long to get it fixed, and by the magic of modern television, here's one I made about 2.5 seconds ago. So I'm going to introduce you to a set of tools that I use on a very regular basis, which really help keep me on the top of my game. And this is really using the Office 365 suite. Now, we did a talk about productivity tools a while ago, when we're looking at what tools are available, how could we use them, what's the difference between the free versions and the paid versions, etc. And the one thing I'd kind of state is, once you kind of choose an ecosystem, just try and find one that will help you being able to integrate the various different pieces together, because the easier they are to integrate, then the more you'll be able to leverage the technology to actually take away some of the burdens that you've got. And for me, that is the Office 365 suite. It's a very comprehensive set of tools, and at first you might look at it and think, wow, it's daunting, there's lots in there, but actually as you start to get used to it, it's a bit like any kind of skill. It's taking one step and working out how to make that work for you, and then taking the next step and making that work for you as well. So I use the Office 365 set of tools on a fairly regular basis to do that. And with that, there's like two key tools when it comes down to planning and managing that I will tend to use. So the first of all, you guys have heard me say, if it's not in the diary, it doesn't get done. And certainly the diary aspect of running my business is very important, and I can use the diary now not only to provide me with an understanding of where I am, but also then to do things such as this, which allows me to put a system on here where people can book my time without me necessarily having to be there. They can see where I've got time slots that are available. We can create a number of different services using the bookings tool, which then allows us to then say, okay, you want to have a free 30-minute session to talk about strategy for your business, for example, and you can book that without me actually being there, and that will take you to a page like this. You can say, okay, it looks like mine's got some time on the 12th, and it's got 8:30, 9 or 12, and you can choose the time, add your details in, and that will automatically book you into my calendar and mean that you can have their appointment. So these kind of automated labour saving tools are really useful when you're kind of using your business, especially if you're a kind of person who does a lot of meetings or has a lot of coaching calls with potential clients. Then having this ability to get them to do the bookings for you means you get rid of a lot of the toing and froing, trying to find a time in both your diaries that's suitable. So this is one of the kind of key tools alongside my diary that I use. The other tool that I tend to use a lot is around the actual managing of tasks and also the allocation of tasks, because it's not just a case of for me to do everything, but it's also a case of making sure people in my team are doing the right things as well. So I use two parts of the Office 365 suite for that. The first one is what's known as Planner. and inside Planner you can literally build towers of all the various different tasks, where the work is, how's it in progress, how long has it been going for. You can put notes in here, you can put images, etc. And it's a really nice way of being able to show what's happening at any particular point in time. So again, quickly running through some of the kind of key items that some of my team are working with. They can go through and say, okay, we can manage that, and I can see, I get updates all the time where they are with these tasks, and I don't have to worry about it. These also link directly into my calendar because it's all part of the Office 365 suite. I get notifications in my calendar when they're due, when they've been completed, etc. And I don't have to worry about having to chase them or manually be able to make that work. So again, from a leveraging technology point of view, it really kind of helps because I'm no longer having to do all the work myself. I can get technology to do some of that for me. But when you've got the things in the plan, that's great for things where you're delegating tasks around, but actually for your own time, alongside putting things in my calendar, I also use my own to-do list manager. And in my to-do list manager, this is really kind of things that are in my head, things that I'm kind of managing on a small scale, or things where I'm trying to think actually there's a number of subtasks that I need to be looking at as part of a larger thing. So for example, when I look at this view, I can see what I've allocated for me to do today. These are the rest of the tasks I'll be doing after we've finished on the call. And the idea being is it helps me being able to then manage where I am with the various tasks that I have. Because alongside being able to actually get the work done and putting in the diary and having time set aside for everything and making sure we're putting the right time in the right place, you're also going to have to realise that not everything goes to plan. You know, plans are great, but as Einstein said, you know, in theory and practice are the same, but in practice they are different. So if you're not able to then change things round, or if you miss a time slot because a client runs over, or you've had to spend more time doing a previous task, then you need a way of being able to track and monitor where you are with these things. And some things do end up being a bit more overdue than they should be. And again, managing that through that system, and just being able to then go through and make sure you've got all the bits in place, and maybe subdividing them into various different categories depending on what you're doing. For example, for books that I'm looking at reading, new product ideas that I might be launching, even things like, you know, the weekly shop. You know, if I run out of something, I'll pop it onto my shopping list. I know it's there. It's a very simple thing, and you might think this is crazy, being able to run a whole product just for doing things like that, but the value you get is that you don't miss a thing, you don't lose things, and you can take it straight out your head. Because then when you come round to being in wherever you're shopping, you can look at your shopping list, you know to look at it at that point in time. You don't have to look at it at any other point in time. When you're sat at your computer, you need to look at what you're going to be doing for your day ahead. You look at your My Day calendar, you know what tasks you're going to be looking at. If you've got things that you're going to be recurring or you've planned ahead of time, you can look in the planned items and see when those are going to occur for you. So straight away, you take away a lot of the burden of having to remember all these things by, again, leveraging the technology that's in place and getting it to work with you. And the best thing is, you know, because I'm using this technology and it's all integrated with Office 365, I can get access to that whether it's on my computer, whether it's on my smartphone, or any kind of device that I'm wandering around with. Even if I'm using somebody else's computer, I can log on using a web browser and be able to get access directly to those straight away. Now, if you're kind of wondering how much it costs for an Office 365 subscription, there are a number of different subscription models available to you. The one that I would recommend is definitely looking at the Office 365 Business Premium. You might be asking why. It's not because it's £9.40 a month. At the end of the day, you choose whatever you're going to use, but it's because it gives you all the different integrated services. So you get the email, you get to be able to use the tools like the bookings, like the to-do, like the planner, and they all link together quite nicely in that kind of software suite. There are other advantages as well to using Office 365. You've got the fact that the Microsoft suite is the one that's used in nearly every industry, so you're guaranteed that people will be compatible with what you're using. So if you are sharing documents with people, you don't have to worry about things like incompatibilities, etc. And there are other kind of services in here that you might find useful. So for example, things like file storage and sharing. So you'd be able to store a number of files up there, a bit like a mini Dropbox. So if something goes wrong with your computer or anything, you don't necessarily lose all your information. This is all backed up and underpinned by Microsoft themselves. So certainly something I would recommend having a look at, and I would definitely I utilize these kind of tools all the time in my work life. Well, I pretty much don't think I could do my work without actually having them in place. So that's kind of covers hopefully a little bit of the productivity side of what I do and how I make it working. So if you have any questions, please make sure you drop those in and we can help, and we'll see if we can answer those questions. And right now I'll go see what we have already on the list. So I've got a question here. It's very different from iCal on Apple, Martin. Yes, yeah, it is. So iCal on the Apples is just a calendaring program. It doesn't have the integration with anything else. There's no kind of tools behind the scenes. There's nothing that links it together with things. So iCal on your Mac or on your smartphone, your iPhone or whatever phone you have, you can get it to display the calendar that you have inside Office 365. So if you're happy with that view of the tool and you want to continue to use it, you can continue to use it through that, and you can then also benefit from having things like the to-do manager and the booking manager and the planner, etc., that all tag alongside it, so they're all integrated and work together, and then when you're out and about and you're just on your phone, you don't have to worry about the other tools. You just look at it through iCal or through the email programs to be able to see what you've got in your diary at that point in time. And because everything's in the cloud, you don't have to worry about if you lose your device or if it gets broken, stolen, or any other reason that you're suddenly departed from that, because you just be able to restore the data straight away. In fact, interesting fact, or actually it's a horrible story, but I'll tell you anyway. I took my family away to Tenerife. Crumbs, my kids were quite young then, so well, it must be 10 years ago. Wow, that's a long time. Anyway, took the guys away to Tenerife. We had an absolutely lovely holiday, and as we were just about to get on the plane, we parked up outside, we were getting the bags out of the car, and someone came up and they ran off with my rucksack, which had my laptop in, also had all of our passports in, and a variety of other things. So we were kind of stranded at this point in Tenerife. We've no way of being able to get home. We've spoken to the police, etc. And to make matters even more interesting, it was a bank holiday. So this was a 4-day holiday at the time, where we couldn't get access to the British Embassy to be able to get replacement passports. So it was an interesting ordeal. The kids kind of enjoyed the fact that they had an extra week holiday, while Sarah and I were stressing trying to get us all home. But the key thing was, I wasn't too worried from my business point of view, simply because my laptop was completely backed up. All my documents are stored in the cloud. I have them all in a place where I can get them accessible, all of my emails, all my contacts, etc. The device itself was encrypted, so even if someone took the device, they couldn't get access to the data that's on there. So it was literally no use, no ornament to them. So when I got home, I bought on a laptop. It came within the space of 2 or 3 days, and I was back up and running within 5 days. All of the data restored. So using the power of these cloud tools is absolutely fantastic, not only for the capabilities that they can give you, the extensions of being able to do more for you, but also as a way of being able to give you that little bit of certainty that you can recover from things going wrong, and you don't have to worry about things going missing. That's an extreme case, someone stealing your laptop, but it could be something simple. For example, it might be something's gone wrong on your laptop and it's being wiped, or the hard disk is broken, or whatever else, and just being able to get to this position where you can recover is quite important. So hopefully that's answered your question there with regards to how it's different from iCal. Just having another quick look, see if there's any other questions that have come up, and I I think that's it at the moment. So if you do have any questions and I see them later on, then what I will do is will come around and I will answer them again, possibly even offline. So when we're just wrapping up again, just to remind everybody, we do have the expert view. So if you have an expertise that you'd like to share with the world and share with the people here, then please let me know, and what we'll do is get you booked in, and hopefully you'll be able to share your expertise. And you never know, there's people on here that may even need your service, or actually might know the people that do need your service. So again, sharing a little bit of your expertise, what you do, why you do it, and how you do it, is probably very much a worthwhile thing, along with the fact that you're getting great practice in a safe environment. Also remember, we've got the talking business happening as well. So if you'd like to be a part of an interview and really share some of your experiences in business, good, bad, ugly, whatever it is really, we're quite happy to have those conversations and see where it goes to. Because this is the whole point. As we're sharing new ideas and sharing a mindset and sharing our experiences, we can all learn something a little bit better and make things even better for the next generation of business owners as well. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed the live this evening. As I say, if you do have any questions, then please let me know, and what I will do is I will get around to answering them in the group. In the meantime, have a great week ahead. Bye for now.